On this edition of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast, no stranger to an airplane, Cole Tucker is back in his adopted home province, hoping to make an impact with the Okotoks Dogs. Welcome to episode 137 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. The Western Canadian Baseball League season is underway. Games fired up this past weekend as 5 teams will vie for the league championship. Make sure to head to albertadugoutstories.com as our Ian Wilson was at a couple of games and snapped some great pics for a photo gallery that you can now check out. The defending champions are the Okotoks Dogs, who are fielding 2 teams this season, Dogs Black and Dogs Red. One of the players expected to contribute a lot this season for Dogs Red will be Cole Tucker. The Newfoundland native is no stranger to the friendly confines of Siemens Stadium as he spent his high school days with Dogs Academy. He graduated, then spent time with Southeastern Community College before moving up to Niagara University, where he's been the last couple of seasons. The 6'1", 195-pound infielder is coming off an impressive spring with the Purple Eagles, hitting .391 with 3 home runs and 19 RBIs, spending most of the season in the middle of the batting order, and was rewarded by being named to the All-Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference second team. After the college season wrapped up, he went home to Newfoundland to be in quarantine for a couple of weeks and is now back in Alberta, ready to contribute for Dogs Red. And he did exactly that in his debut on Tuesday, coming on as a pinch hitter to go 1 for 2 with an RBI in a 10-9 loss to their Dogs Black counterparts. Before the game, we had a chance to sit down with a native of Mount Pearl to talk about his baseball journey, which has included plenty of airplanes. Cole, thanks so much for joining us here on the podcast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No worries. Thanks for having me.
Back here in Alberta, suiting up for the college Dogs after growing up with the Academy program. What's it like to be back in your second home?
It feels great to see friends and family. Like I said, my billet families at this point are now my family. To see everyone you graduated with, the coaching staff, it feels great. Feels fantastic.
How excited are you to be suiting up this summer, getting a chance to help the team defend that WCBL title?
Oh, it feels amazing. I mean, anyone who goes to the academy, I bet they'll all say playing for the Dogs college team is, something they always dream about. And for me to have the opportunity and, it finally be here, it feels fantastic. I wouldn't want to play summer ball anywhere else.
Walk us through that kind of experience where you're going to the academy and you're kind of watching from the sideline, so to speak, and now you get to suit up for that WCBL team. What was it like as a player back then, and what's it like now having that opportunity to kind of realize a dream of sorts?
Well, yeah, I mean, coming from Newfoundland, you don't have something where you can look at it in terms of baseball anyway. You can't really look up or have too many role models to, follow in their footsteps. So getting up here and, I remember my first college game in Okotoks, and you see these guys, they're much bigger, older, stronger, and, they give you a good sense of what it takes, and, their work ethic, they're always in there early, and, it just feels great. And I remember selling 50 tickets, and, it's come full circle now. So, I mean, it feels good, and, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
It's got to be pretty cool as well to think about that day where, especially here in Alberta, thinking about the reopening plans and that kind of thing. And all of a sudden the idea of maybe a packed house for a summer worth of baseball and getting to play in front of that packed house has to be pretty exciting.
Oh, absolutely. Like we said, we have the best fans in all of summer ball, and, hopefully we'll get a full house, fingers crossed, but, just that would be absolutely awesome. It'd be a great little full circle moment for me. I'll say that.
You're coming off a great junior campaign in Niagara. What was key for you to have the kind of success and season that you did have?
Definitely consistency. Just, making sure I was keeping my body healthy through the grueling doubleheader weekends. Just making sure I was, mentally prepared each game, even if, you are exhausted or tired or your body doesn't feel right. Just, making sure that every game, every at-bat is, equally as important as the next, and just going from there, taking every pitch, not taking one pitch for granted. Our head coach, Rob McCoy, does a great job at preaching to the choir about that and the mental aspect of baseball. And I think the big jump I made this year was taking into importance of the mental game. So I definitely attribute it to that.
You had some success as well in that first year with the Purple Eagles, hitting 300 just before COVID hit. I know some guys say that jump from community college to NCAA can be tough. How did you weather that storm?
You know, it was a pretty big jump, I will say that. But in terms, at some of those junior college levels, you're facing, UNC commits, Louisiana commits. Like, there's still some good arms you'll face, but on the day-to-day basis, it's a big jump to make. But like I said, mostly the mental game. Just the pitcher puts on his pants the same way you do. He might throw a little bit harder than the guy than last year, but just making sure that you feel prepared, trusting yourself, and having lots of confidence.
What was it about Niagara that attracted you to that program?
Honestly, McCoy did a great job. I talked to him at a high school, and we didn't work at a high school, logistics wise. But after a year at Niagara, or at a Southeastern Community College, I was ready to move on, and we got in touch and we made it work. Honestly, just the program. He has a great mental game, like I said, and I don't know. It just felt like a really good fit, close to home, relatively as close as I'll probably get. So that had something to do with it, and just a great fit overall, academically and baseball.
You mentioned Southeastern. What was that experience in Iowa like for you?
It was awesome. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I made a massive jump from high school to college. I improved so much there, and I wouldn't be where I am today without those guys. McVeigh and Schultze, they got a great program down there, and I'm a Blackhawk for life. I still check up on their games and keep in touch with the coaching staff down there from time to time, and overall, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
You're also a Purple Eagle. I want to know a little bit about what you think of the future of that program after what you've seen over the last couple of years. What do you think the next couple of years have in store for you?
Yeah, program-wise, I think down the road we're gonna be a powerhouse in the MAC. We showed it this year. We went on a little 7-8 game losing streak to end the year, which obviously isn't good, but we were second in the conference for the majority of the year. Didn't finish strong. We ran into some injuries and battled some other stuff. But, I think we definitely got on the map in the conference, and we're just going to continue to do so. We got some great guys, great culture, and it's only going to get better from there, for sure.
I want to go way back here and talk about your roots in the game of baseball. How is it that a Canadian kid from Mount Pearl ends up playing baseball instead of, let's be real, hockey's always the big one, but football here in Canada is pretty big. How is it that you stumbled upon baseball?
That's a good question. Obviously I played a lot of sports growing up, and hockey and baseball were, my two favorites. And I don't know what it was about baseball. Maybe it was I was better at it. I just had a key for hitting the ball. Who knows? But honestly, when I had the opportunity to come to the Dogs, when Alan reached out to me back in 15U Bantam Nationals, that's when I really decided that, I'm going to take this serious. I took it serious the whole way, but when I had the opportunity, it's when it really struck me that, I can do something special with it.
I was going to ask about that. How is it that you ended up with the Dogs Academy program? It's a pretty big jump to not just to go to a high school program like that, but to travel across the country to chase a dream like baseball.
Yeah, so it's funny. I hadn't a sense that I'd wanted to go. Well, growing up back then, it was the two big ones were Vauxhall and Okotoks, and I'd always heard about them, but I had no real idea how to get there. But the stars aligned. We in 15U Bantam Nationals, I think it was Bantam Black team had went to Vaughan, Ontario that year, and it just so happened that we were playing them in a consolation game. It was the last game of the tournament, and I was like 4 for 5 or something, made some nice plays down at shortstop, and Alan saw me and he saw something he liked, and I went and talked to him after the game, and that's kind of how that ball got rolling. So luckily for me, I had the chance to play in front of people and played great at the right time. That's what it takes, I guess.
Looking back on that experience with the Dogs, what did that program mean to you and your development in the game?
Oh, they mean, everything. I would not be half the man or baseball player I am without them. Like you said earlier, to touch on that point, the toughest part about making the jump to Newfoundland, to Calgary, wasn't me wanting to do it. It was saying, Mom, hey, I want to do this. It was tough to get the parents on board. I didn't make it up till around October because they were so on the fence about it. But It was something I really wanted to do, and luckily I had the support system behind me to allow it. And I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, it's the best academy in Canada, in my opinion, for placing guys. I think they're still at 100% rate. I mean, you come here, you play 3 years or 2 years, 1 year, you're going to find a college school. And the coaching staff's the best. They're still all in one place, and they mean the world. I wouldn't be where I am today without them.
What is it that set them apart for you? When you look back on it, you've got that benefit of 50-50 hindsight almost, but being able to kind of transform this young high schooler to someone who graduates, what was it that kind of allowed you to progress the way you did within that program?
Yeah, so I think what it was is they really build you up. I mean, like I tell people a lot in college, it feels like I've been in college or playing college baseball now for 8 years. I mean, in grade 10, you're, working out at 6 a.m., going to school and have a 3.5-hour practice afterwards. So I think just the consistency of it, I mean, they really prep you for college baseball. It's tough. It's not an easy program by any means, but I think it just builds you up, builds your character, builds you as a man, and gets you prepared. And anyone who graduates from this program is going to have a great chance to make that jump from high school to college, no problem.
You've had a lot of success at every level you've played at to this point. You've played in some big situations as well. Any favorite career highlights to this point or moments that made you go, I can't believe I'm here playing baseball right now?
Yeah, it was a midweek game in Southeastern against Indian Hills. I had a day off on the midweek, and around the 6th inning rolled around, and McVay told me to go get dressed. It was a close game. I forget the score. It was like 2-1 or 3-2 or something in that regards. But McVay told me around the 6th or 7th to go get dressed and get ready because I might go in for a pinch hit at bat. Sure enough, in the bottom of the 10th inning, I lead off the inning, tie game, and get into a 2-0 count, get a fastball I can handle, and hit it over the fence for a walk-off home run. First in my career. Like ever. I've never hit a walk-off home run before. And I remember I hit it and blacked out. Next thing you know, I was, on home plate. Everyone was going crazy celebrating, and I'll never, ever forget that moment for sure.
Do you remember any of the celebration going around the base paths or even that last 90 feet between third and home, thinking, how am I even going to touch home plate? Because I'm sure you were ready for the mob scene.
No, honestly, it's funny you say that. I touched home plate, and everyone was like, holy, because apparently I saw the video afterwards. I sprinted around the bases. I was fist pumping, screaming. And you can see our third base coach, Schultz, saying, telling the guys to, stay in the dugout, relax. And he was looking at me saying, don't forget to touch home plate. But no, I remember blacking out next to, I was just screaming and fired up with the guys.
Fantastic. We've talked a little bit about the experiences, but I want to talk a little bit about the people as well here. And behind every great baseball player, there's always a great support system, as you alluded to earlier, your parents. But talk a little bit about your parents. Talk about those people who have really made an impact on your life as a man and as a baseball player.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just so fortunate that my parents have been the best support system, in my opinion, ever. Whether it's playing summer ball in Florida, flying around Canada for baseball tournament, they've never said no. They've always been there for me. Purchasing equipment, flights to tournaments, this and that. They've just been. I don't know what I'd do without them. I really don't. I attribute a lot, most of my success to those guys. They've never batted an eye or questioned me and what I'm doing with my career. Especially making the jump from high school to college. They let me take care of my business, and they're always just there to keep me on track. They're great guardrails, and I love them for that and everything they do for me.
Speaking of the career trajectory, one of the things that we get asked about, especially the college athletes, is what they're up to besides playing baseball. And obviously there's a reason they call them student athletes, but from a scholastic perspective, I know that you're in the business side of things over at Niagara. How challenging is that to kind of find that happy medium between being a good athlete and being a good academic athlete as well?
Yeah, it's like I said, there's no way around it. It's difficult, really, really difficult, especially when the season rolls around. You're on the road maybe 3-4 times a week sometimes. You're missing lectures, but it all just comes down to how bad you want to do well in school. I mean, everyone talks about how well they want to do on the baseball field, and they'll go get their extra workouts or go hit extra. But if you want to do well in the classroom, it comes down to, am I going to go to the library and finish my project before, 6 days before it's due, because I know I'm not going to be able to do it on the weekend. So really it just comes down to how bad you want to do well in school. I mean, there's been often many, many times I have to motivate myself to, go finish an assignment or, a project or write a test 4 days before I'm supposed to. But really, in my opinion, it's so doable. If you want to do well in school, you'll do it. Just like anyone will say, if you want to do well in baseball, you can do it, or any sports for that regard. But like my parents too, they've always preached the importance of school. So I've always had that upbringing of school is just as important as anything else you do. So I've been fortunate enough to make sure that I've always been on top of both.
Any aspirations that you have from a business perspective? Should maybe a side hustle for baseball, that kind of thing?
No, just taking it one step at a time. Right now, I'm planning to finish my finance degree in next spring, and then because of the extra year of eligibility, I'll be back for my 5th year to get my master's in finance, and just go from there and see what happens. Who knows?
Fantastic. And one thing that I've also noticed as we've been talking is Newfoundland, Alberta, then you go to Iowa, you've got Niagara on your list. You mentioned Florida earlier. It seems as though you're not afraid of hopping on an airplane.
No, being from Newfoundland, you can't be. It's just baseball. It's funny. I mean, one of the big takeaways I have from this whole baseball career is not only the people I meet, which is obviously the most important, but just the experiences I've had, the tournaments all over the U.S. I would not have had a fraction or, a quarter of the experiences I've got to have playing this game. And, I just love it. You can't be afraid of taking chances. You really, really can't. So just, take everything one step at a time and see what happens.
Do you have a favorite ballpark that you've either played in or visited as a fan?
Favorite ballpark I've played in would either be Siemens Stadium or our field down in Niagara right now, Bobo Field. It's all turf, and it's pretty tough to make an error on it, so I love it for that. But favorite ballpark I've visited would probably be the St. Louis Cardinals. We took a trip down to Iowa and stopped in and did a tour, and the history of that ballpark is it's electric. You can feel it even when there's no one or anyone playing or no one in the stands. You can just feel the baseball electricity that just, buzzes around that stadium.
Fantastic stuff. During your time in Okotoks, you might have seen some alumni roll through and they'd offer you pieces of advice or directions. Now that you're that guy that can lean on some of the experiences that you've had, what kind of advice would you give to those kids thinking about chasing the baseball dream, especially those who are from Canada, whether they be from here in Alberta or in your home province of Newfoundland or anywhere else from coast to coast?
Yeah, the advice would be don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, I remember one of the big things growing up, Matt Lloyd was a big one for me. He'd come into the facility and you just watch this guy work and he's doing things, I didn't even think about doing. But, you'd almost be intimidated to ask him for questions or, anything. But he's just, he's a nice guy once you know him too. I mean, that's just one example now. But don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, if anyone were to say, hey, Tuck, you want to come hit with me or take some ground balls? I'm never going to say no. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Use your resources, and that's about it, really.
Final question for you here, Cole. What does the game of baseball mean to you?
Oh, it's been my whole life. It means that my teammates are my family at this point. You've been away from home so long. You really build a brothership and friendships for life. It's my life. I will say that. Like I said, between all the plane rides, being away from home. It's tough at times, it's good at times, and it's really bad at times. You just got to ride with the good times, get through the tough ones, and, enjoy the ride. You only get to play this game for so long, so enjoy every little bit of it. I'm getting older now, and you can kind of see the door closing a little bit, but, just enjoy it, have fun.
Really appreciate catching up with you, Cole. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on all you've accomplished, and all the best as we head towards the summer season here.
Awesome, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it and love what you're doing.
Thanks again to Cole Tucker for joining us this week, and thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. We're looking forward to chatting with a few more WCBL players as the season goes on with conversations just like this. So make sure you subscribe on your podcast app of choice so you don't miss a moment of the action. Until next time, thanks for all of your support, no matter the platform of Alberta Dugout Stories.